One of the things that I've learned over the past 13 years is just the value of the human connection.
I could see the value in having this, but I don't want to assume anything. What is it the tool doing? Because there's this whole fear around AI.
Right? And if we can take tech and eliminate that mundane.
If you had a magic wand, if you went back to your operator days, what's the number one thing that you would wave that wand to get rid of in a dental practice that is the biggest operational challenge? Welcome back to The Doers, the podcast where we dive into the real stories of building, struggling, and thriving in dentistry. I'm your host, Dan Hall. In each episode, we explore the challenges, victories, and lessons learned by the leaders in the trenches shaping the future of our industry. Today, I'm joined by Jason Gardner, the founder of alphaSource, an AI employee screening tool. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dan, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me the story. How did you become a founder? Because I know previous to this, you were the operations leader for an emerging DSO. How do you now find yourself running a AI tech company?
Overly ambitious, mostly. I built on the operational knowledge, right? You always see processes, you see what goes on in an office and think about what could be better. And I think in the operational role, often that is, who else could fix this for us with some product or some tech? Stepping out of that operational role, getting into the software world and seeing the guts of it with Subscribely, at some point just realized that person could be me. And so founded the company, found a problem that we ran into a lot, and figured that with what AI can do now, that we had solutions. And so furiously been building for months and months to get this product ready.
Okay, so for somebody who doesn't know, I can make some assumptions, right? I screen candidates all the time as a leader at CareStack. I could see the value in having this, but I don't want to assume anything. What is it the tool doing when you say screening employees or candidates for a role that you have open in a dental practice specifically?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think anybody who's involved in hiring in the screening process knows where it gets tedious. And what we wanted to do was eliminate the tedious. And so that is time spent with little return, and that's your initial screening. And so our thought was, can we automate this, make it still human-like, give the hiring manager a more comprehensive picture of the candidate, and do it even in off hours when the candidate may be working during business hours when you're screening and you're going to miss a certain amount of people. So it's like, what were the areas that were being missed in a practice or that were little return for lots of effort? And that's where we come in. We use AI to not only conduct the screening, but also score the resume, score the screening call, and do this all in an automated process so that you don't have to be involved. You get a report card and you decide who goes on to the next step from there.
Okay, fascinating. So is this something that's out of the box, or is it configurable based on the way I operate my DSO, my individual practice?
It's a great question. It's ultimately going to be white label. Right now it's customizable. Ultimately, by the end of the year, it's going to be consumer customizable. So you plug in your parameters, that programs the agent to be whatever you want it to be and speak however you want it to speak with whatever knowledge base you want it to have. So it's not going to be an out-of-the-box one agent for everybody. It will be custom to whoever uses it.
Okay, so I know you've been in the space 13 years, working in operations, now solving problems, which I completely see on the hiring side. If you had a magic wand, if you went back to your operator days, what's the number one thing that you would wave that wand to get rid of in a dental practice that is the biggest operational challenge?
There's so many. I think one that would make the biggest difference is just the amount of time spent on tasks that could be automated. Anything from phone calls to, for hiring managers, the screening, which is why we address that. But there are so many things that actual people time could be devoted to that are more high return than tasks like answering inbound phone calls. It's why we see AI in so many of these spaces, is that human value isn't in that repetitive task. And I think anything that we could do to eliminate those repetitive, mundane tasks and put facing people, the better.
I was going to say, the mundane. It's a great utilization of AI.
Yep.
To then use your human capital for critical thinking, being creative, to actually get people to accept more treatment.
Yeah,
That's an awesome way to describe that.
one of the things that I've learned over the past 13 years is just the value of the human connection, right? And if we can take tech and eliminate that mundane, the benefit of that is seeing that your humans in the practice as employees get to connect with your humans that are patients. And so you free up more time for that actual interaction that matters for your practice. To me, that's the biggest benefit, is actually freeing up time for that connection people to people.
Yeah, and it's great. You're augmenting the process because there's this whole fear around AI. You're not taking the hiring manager's job.
Right.
He or she now just has more time to spend it with the actual humans that you want to hire that are going to interact with your human patients.
Yep.
I love it. What a great way to think about that. So as we see the fast development in the tech side, now we toss the wand aside, let's pull out the crystal ball. What do you see coming in the next, I used to like to say 5 years, but I'm kind of afraid to do that anymore because everything changes so quick. Like, what are you going to see in like the next 18 months, 2 years, in your opinion, tech-wise?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that we'll see is what we've seen over the past couple years, where AI gets better at what it does. It gets better at solving problems. It gets better at interacting with humans in the way that humans interact, and becomes less machine-like. So these tasks that we ask it to do, it's going to become more efficient and better at it, but also better at interacting with us. I mean, if I look at when we started this last year and how much the AI that we use has progressed in 9 months, I see that trajectory. Like, the voices are more human-like. The thought processing is more human-like, where it's more like dealing with a person than a machine. And I see that along with better processing being the way that we're headed.
Okay, so you think it's just a matter of this technology getting better and better to interact with our humans?
Yeah, I think less machine-like is probably a good way to say it, because there are times now where you can get fooled to think that AI is an actual person, and I think that's going to only get more pronounced over time, where it's more human-like. It's easier to interact with than just a machine.
Okay. Now, that's great insight there. So, being a founder, what's your go-to to unwind? When you walk out of work, decompress, what do you do? Is there activity, hobby, sport, book, movie?
Well, avid runner. So last year I logged my most miles yet for a year, over 2,700 miles. So that's one of the things that keeps me sane, is 50 or 60 miles on the road a week is a good place to unwind. Recently, that's changed. I have a 2.5-week-old daughter, so that is the core focus of life now. Her smiles and getting to know her, and then becoming a parent. It's our first. So,
congratulations! Super exciting.
Thank you.
I was going to say, what are you going to be most proud of next? But I think you probably already answered that question for me.
That's it.
It's going to be your 2.5-week-old daughter.
On.
What's her name?
Abigail.
Abigail
Grace.
Beautiful. Again, congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you.
Jason, if people want to get in touch with you and learn more about alphaSource, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
2 ways. alphaSourceAI.com.
Okay.
Or if they want to shoot an email, it's info@alphaSourceAI.com.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me on the show today at Inner Circle. We're doing this live. Again, thanks for joining me. For those listening, watching, if you like the topic, please tune in. Keep following the Doers. Until then, keep doing the work.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Jason.